The talks are at a complete stalemate, and now, reports claim a date for war with Iran may already be set. Sources suggest President Trump could authorize U.S. strikes as early as the coming days. Many are calling it a repeat of Iraq 2003, the biggest American military buildup in over 2 decades. Iranian leaders and key missile sites are reportedly at the top of Trump's military targets list. With missiles loaded, warships deployed, and fighter jets on standby, are Iran and the United States about to go to war? Fears of a U.S. Iran war are intensifying, as Washington reportedly weighs a major military decision in the coming days. According to sources cited by CNN, the United States is prepared to launch strikes on Iran as early as February 21st. The Wall Street Journal reports that potential targets could include Iran's top leaders, as well as its nuclear and ballistic missile facilities. However, President Trump has not yet made a final decision on whether to authorize military action. Sources say he has been briefed on a range of military options, all designed to inflict serious damage on Iran's regime and its regional proxies. Among these options is a possible campaign aimed at eliminating dozens of Iranian political and military figures, according to Wall Street Journal. Another scenario under review involves limited airstrikes focusing on Iran's nuclear and missile bases. Both options are said to involve a potentially weeks-long military operation, the Wall Street Journal reported. Meanwhile, Trump has indicated he would be indirectly involved in negotiations with Iran, warning that Tehran must take the chance to make a deal before it's too late.
I'll be involved in those talks indirectly, and they'll be very important. We'll see what can happen. It's been typically Iran's a very tough negotiator. They're good negotiators, or bad negotiators. I would say they're bad negotiators because we could have had a deal instead of sending the B-2s in to knock out their nuclear potential. And we had to send the B-2s. I hope they're going to be more reasonable. They want to make a deal.
I've been told that a deal is next to impossible.
No, I think they want to make a deal. I don't think they want the consequences of not making a deal. They want to make a deal.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated that diplomacy continues to be President Trump's preferred course of action in dealing with Iran.
Well, there's many reasons and arguments that one could make for a strike against Iran. The president had a very successful operation as commander-in-chief with Operation Midnight Hammer, as you know, as you just said, totally obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities. The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world, diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration. He's talking to many people, of course, his national security team, first and foremost, and you know who the members of that team are. And this is something, obviously, the president takes seriously. He's always thinking about what's in the best interest of the United States of America, of our military, of the American people, and that's how he makes decisions with respect to military action of any kind.
The U.S. is weighing potential strike options amid what analysts are calling the largest American military buildup in the Middle East since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Advanced fighter jets, including F-22s, F-35s, and F-16s, along with aerial refueling planes, have been deployed to key U.S. air bases across the region. Over 150 military cargo flights have reportedly transported massive quantities of weapons and ammunition to Middle Eastern bases. The USS Abraham Lincoln is already stationed in the region, while the USS Gerald R. Ford is currently en route to the Gulf. Meanwhile, U.S. tankers and fighter jets based in the United Kingdom are being refueled and repositioned closer to potential strike zones. On the other side, Iran is said to be reinforcing its nuclear facilities with additional layers of concrete and soil to protect them from potential air attacks. Tehran has also been conducting large-scale military drills in the Strait of Hormuz, simulating direct conflict scenarios with U.S. forces. Iran has deployed more than 20 Ghadir mini-submarines in the Persian Gulf. These subs are built for shallow waters and deadly ambush missions. U.S. carrier strike groups now face a new stealth threat beneath the surface. While they lack U.S. firepower, the Ghadirs make operations far more complex. The undersea standoff is pushing Gulf tensions to the brink. Amid ongoing military drills and rising U.S. threats, Iran's supreme leader has issued a direct warning to the United States. Reports suggest that President Trump is growing increasingly frustrated as Ayatollah Khamenei continues to openly challenge American pressure.
We must have deterrent weapons. If a country does not have deterrent weapons, it will be crushed under the feet of its enemies. Deterrent weapons are one of the necessities of our nation. The Americans are interfering in this matter without any reason. You may have such and such missiles. You may have such range and not more. What does it have to do with you? It concerns the Iranian nation.
On February 17th, Iranian and U.S. officials met in Geneva for a new round of nuclear negotiations, following their first round of talks in Oman. So far, both rounds have ended without any major breakthrough or progress toward an agreement.
Today, we held the second round of indirect talks with the American delegation at the Omani embassy in Geneva. I can say that in this round, there were quite serious discussions and a more constructive atmosphere than in the previous round. Various ideas were raised, and these ideas were seriously discussed, and finally we were able to reach a general agreement on a series of guiding principles that from now on we will move based on those principles and enter into the text of a possible agreement.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.